Previously, I talked about online course basics as well as hardware and software considerations. In this last presentation, I'm going to turn my attention to accessibility and then wrap everything up. Is accessibility really all that important in online courses? Well, the answer is yes, especially after the National Association of the Deaf won a landmark settlement with Harvard University in November of last year. The settlement institutes a series of new guidelines that make the university's website and online resources accessible for those who are deaf or hard of hearing. The settlement represents the most comprehensive set of online accessibility requirements in higher education. Although the case focused on captioning, Harvard agreed to follow the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines 2.1 AA. In addition to captioning, the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines offers a set of comprehensive guidelines that focus on accessibility, but I'm just going to skim the surface. I'm going to end the presentation on where we go from here. For online courses, captioning is probably the first thing that comes to mind for a lot of you. In the Harvard case, the court concluded that captioning per se was not enough. Rather, the captioning had to be accurate. I've spent more time than I care to think about researching different captioning alternatives, both automatic and manual. Maybe there's a quick fix out there, but I haven't found one. So the easiest option I think to get you started would be either Panopto or YouTube. As I mentioned in the previous presentation, Panopto will create automatic captions. However, my experience suggests that captions in Panopto really aren't all that good and would probably not pass muster as being accurate, whatever accurate means. YouTube also creates automatic captions, and I think its captioning ability is superior to that of Panopto. You might consider that YouTube is a Google product. Several years ago, I read an article that Google was quietly going after Dragon Naturally Speaking to position itself as the ultimate speech-to-text provider. I think that both the YouTube captioning and the Google Meet captioning, as well as the speech-to-text extensions in Chrome, suggest that Google is at least well on its way to capture the speech-to-text prize. Did you know that there is a fundamental difference between sans serif and serif fonts? Well, there is. The word sans means without, but without what? Well, here is a sans serif font, and here's a serif font. Do you see the difference? The little tails or ticks on the serif font are missing on the sans serif font. Well, so what? Well, those little tails on the serif font take up more space on a computer screen and are sometimes more difficult to read by people with dyslexia. In addition, it's better to use a sans serif font like Calibri or Arial. Also, you should try to keep the text size large enough so that it can be easily read. You should also try to minimize the number of different fonts in your presentation. This helps improve accessibility and legibility, and it also helps to avoid confusion. You should avoid using red and green fonts. The reason is that individuals who are colorblind have difficulty with these colors. You should only use bold and italics when it's absolutely necessary. And finally, you should avoid decorative or overly stylized fonts. These tend to be difficult to read even for users without visual impairments or reading disabilities. Bottom line, keep the fonts basic, simple, and unadorned. Contrast ratio refers to the luminance of the brightest color, or white, to that of the darkest color, or black. The higher the contrast ratio, the easier it is to read what is being displayed. Compare the word high contrast ratio to the words low contrast ratio. Which is easier for you to read? For example, you may have been in presentations where the background color of the slide was a light blue and the font was a light yellow. Not very good in terms of readability. Another consideration is including alt text with images. It's a description of the image being displayed. In a presentation, your narration should adequately describe the image that that's being displayed. Finally, you should limit motion and animation within a presentation. Flashing lights, twirling or flying fonts, GIF animations, etc. are not only distracting but can cause sickness in some individuals and seizures or migraines in other individuals. Bottom line, you should keep your presentation simple and legible. If you've never created an online course before and all of a sudden you're mandated to do so with no preparation time, what do? Well, the University Center for Global Online Learning and Development offers excellent resources to help you quickly transition from face-to-face to online. Take advantage of the resources. If there are faculty in your department who are more seasoned in terms of online course development and delivery, reach out to them. Don't be afraid to ask for advice. As the British government advertised in 1939 in preparation for World War II, keep calm and carry on. You'll be amazed at what you can learn and what you can accomplish in a short period of time. If you happen to be an expert in online instruction, well, good for you. Be generous and offer help to your colleagues. It'll help build camaraderie and actually make you better at what you do. Also use this as an opportunity to keep learning and hone your skills. If you're somewhere in between, reach out to both extremes and use this as an opportunity to learn even more about online course development and delivery. The technology that's available today is truly incredible, and if you can successfully marry it with your subject matter expertise, at the very least you'll be able to argue with authority about the implications of moving into the online environment. But at best, you'll likely become a better instructor. As a final thought, remember that this rapid movement online is likely to be as daunting and upsetting for students as it is for you, so be compassionate and do the best that you can.